Did someone say fantasy? Get ready for another episode of Fantasy Football RPG with Mike and Evan. Let's get into the action.
Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football RPG. This is going to be a very fun episode. The season kicks off on Thursday. We are 2 days away from real football, Evan. Real football that matters. I'm fired up. We're going to go through a couple of things. So we've each prepped a list of just random topics. It can be coaching changes. They can be dynasty prices. They can be redraft prices. I'm going to ask you about toppings on pizza later, so get ready for that. We're just going to say whether we love it or hate it and why. So it should be a really fun episode. I'm excited to do it. Evan, would you like to kick us off?
You know, Mike, let's see. We're going to do something personal here. So, love it or hate it. When you can figure out something that's been wrong with your car for a while and you finally figure it out and get it fixed.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
An easy one. That's a layup. I thought we were going to start with football, but we could just start with fun things. Listen, if you have ever worked on a car and you are like diving deep into this problem, you're trying to figure out what's wrong with it, and then all of a sudden the light bulb clicks on, there's a moment of hate where you're like, dang, I really should have figured this out 2 days ago. But it's still nice to get it figured out. It's nice to get it taken care of. I have that with my motorcycle a lot where I'll be like trying to get it started after not starting it for a season. And then I'm like, oh, have you tried charging the battery? And then it kicks back on and everything's good. But cool. Evan, I want to ask you, how do you feel about the Seattle coaching changes with Grubb as the OC and Mike McDonald as the head coach?
I mean, Seattle should be a team on the uprise. You know, it's a team that we're looking for doing something a little bit bigger. We're looking for an expanded role in Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yep.
So that's a big thing. We're looking to see a higher passing volume. We're looking to see a more consolidated rushing arc. So hopefully you're going to say, you know, Kenneth Walker getting a little bit more carries. Peter, start sit. DK JSN.
We love some start sit questions.
Yeah.
Listen, the Jets secondary is legit, but it's not like they only have Sauce. Like they have Sauce, they have Michael Carter, they have all sorts of guys back there that can step in. And that's Michael Carter, the corner, now Michael Carter, the UNC running back. Listen, I'm just going to start the guy that I drafted higher and expect a big play. So I'm going to start DK Metcalf. I'm going to wait and see it with JSN this season. I'm probably not plugging him into many lineups unless I have to, unless I've already seen the breakout. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I just don't trust JSN right now. I haven't seen him in the offense. It's a whole new offensive system. I know that DK is the type of guy that can win you a week. He can go for the big plays. That is exactly what he is. JSN historically has been a shorter yardage, quicker in and out of his routes, higher agility type of receiver, not the absolute downfield threat to be able to stretch it, to be able to push it. Do you think JSN is the clear two in this offense, Mike?
I really hope so for dynasty managers. If he's not the clear two with Tyler Lockett, who missed a lot of camp, who's already approximately 90 years old, like if he's not clearly the guy now, we overpaid in dynasty drastically. Let's get into one more love-hate thing before we get Peter's next start-sit question. What you got for me, Evan?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go have a couple lined up here. We're going to go with your Pittsburgh Steelers. All right.
Ooh.
So a lot of projections have them running right around a 50% clip this coming season with the coaching change going over to Arthur Smith. He's always loved to run the ball. You look at it continuously throughout his entire coaching arc. Let's see. Going back to last season, I was pulling it up. If they run at a 50% clip, that would make them the number one rushing percentage team. If you were to insert that into last year, Baltimore was 49.92 last year. So would you like to see that out of your Pittsburgh Steelers?
So you're asking not as a fantasy analyst, as a Steelers fan, would I like to see them run the ball more?
As a fan.
I'm going to say I would love that because Arthur Smith's system say what you will about him as a fantasy football terrorist, making Cordero Patterson a thing, like all of the, we hate Arthur Smith. All right. Don't get that twisted. But his running scheme's good. And it's drastically improved from Matt Canada. I had a clip last year that it ended up going viral on Twitter. It was very funny, where it was a simple tray. And they tried to pull the tight end and the guard. The tight end tripped over the tackle who took a pass set for some reason. He fell into Najee Harris, who then had to jump over him, break 2 tackles in the backfield in order to fall forward for 1 yard. That's not going to happen in Arthur Smith's system. Like, it is very clear. These are your assignments. This is what you're going to do. And I'm just excited to see an improved Steelers offense. So I would love them to run the ball more. I don't think it's going to be 50%, but it's going to be pretty dang high. All right. Next question in the chat. We got Pete. Would you start Higgins or Rice? I'm lay up here for me. Chase has sat out all of camp. He's still in a holdout. Let's say he's inactive. You're clearly starting Higgins. Let's say he starts slow. You're going to wish you started Higgins. Let's say, I don't know, maybe Xavier Worthy is better than anybody that was fighting with Rice for targets last year. I think Rice could see a drop in volume. I could see Higgins have an increase in volume. I would just start T. Higgins.
Okay.
You think otherwise?
I very much think that they are going to run some more because they're going to get ahead early. They're going to be up by 14 by halfway through the second quarter, and they're going to just put it in cruise control because they're going to be winning 17-3 at halftime. Just guessing here, but 17-3 is the number that I have in my brain for a halftime score of that game, and they're going to just put it in cruise control. In the second half, they're going to just run the ball down New England's throat. They're going to take time, shorten this game. They're going to get out with a win week 1. They're going to move on. So I very much think that Burrow is going to be limited passing the first game back. So with that, I'm going to go Rice, mainly because I think there's a chance that it is a higher scoring game in that one. There's a chance that Mahomes is going to be having to pass the ball more, as much as they love Pacheco, as much as he runs like everything is on fire behind him and he's trying to get out of a burning building. He'll just run through a brick wall to be able to get out of that building. But needless to say, I think Rice is the higher upside in the game. And you know me, Mike, I'm always risk reward. So give me the higher upside.
Okay. I rock with it. Let's do another love-hate list. Actually, here's a great one. Thank you, Big Orty66. Evan, you're the Eagles fan. Do you love or hate Saquon Barkley on the Eagles?
As an Eagles fan, I absolutely love it. As a fantasy owner that owns a ton of Jalen Hurts, not that much of a fan, because one of the two of them is going to be scoring the touchdowns in the red zone. I think I would argue that if a touchdown is scored between Jalen Hurts rushing, Saquon Barkley receiving and rushing, it'll probably be somewhere around 55% of the team's touchdowns in the red zone this year. So, sure. I love it as an Eagles fan now. But right there, Big Orty 66, love that. We are Penn State right there. Pride. Penn State pride.
Yep. All right. We got another start sit question, and then we have a great question from Mike Zimmelman, and then another one from Pete. So we'll just keep hitting up chat questions. We didn't even need to prep anything. Najee Harris or Brian Robinson start sit. Listen, we just talked about the Steelers offense being more run heavy. Jalen Warren is already banked up. Yes, Arthur Smith, known terrorist. The FBI is out to get him. But Najee Harris fits more into the hammer role that Arthur Smith likes to employ. So I would just go with the volume that Harris projects to have. Do you feel differently?
The Tampa Bay defense, if I'm remembering correctly here, was very good against the run last year.
And that's who the Commanders play?
Yeah, that should be who the Commanders play in week 1. So, yeah, with that said, I mean, everybody loves the Falcons right now. The Falcons are the hot, trendy team in that division. A lot of money is coming in on that team. But They were very middle of the pack against the run last year. They did a lot to address the pass rush. They did a lot to address the secondary. The Judon trade was absolutely huge for them to be able to address some of that pass rush. They were one of the lowest sack percentage teams last year, which I think is very intriguing to be able to correlate. So they needed some defensive line help. With that being said, I think it should be very clear Pittsburgh in this game is going to be able to run for more yards. And I'm assuming that Najee is going to be able to get at least 50% of the carries for that offense. I sure hope he does, because if he doesn't, man, first round running backs, man.
It's so sad. Pete, thank you very much. Hit the like button. If you are still listening, like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. If we make your love list, put us on your MySpace top 10. Do what you got to do. If we make your hate list, go do something else with your time. Don't just hate watch us. That would be sad. Question in chat, Mike Zillman. Who finishes with more targets in Chicago, Rome Odunze or Fat Keenan Allen?
Fat Keenan Allen.
Ooh, I actually think it's Rome Odunze. I'm buying the hype.
Okay.
I didn't start the offseason thinking this way, but just seeing all of the juice that Odunze has, knowing that Caleb was excited about having him, I could see a little bit of a step back from Allen. And also, like, if we're just doing season-long totals, who's more likely to finish the season healthy, the 22-year-old or the 34-year-old vet that's coming off of like a string of hamstring injuries and his first fully healthy season in 4 years?
Who was always considered a route running savant, who knows how to be able to get open in his routes.
I'm not arguing that.
A great safety blanket for a rookie quarterback.
Completely agree. But if you had to describe all of those things about one rookie wide receiver, which one would it be, Evan?
Malik Neighbors, and I'm sticking to it.
No.
I'm sticking to it right there now.
But,
okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All righty. I'm going to ask you another one. We're going to switch dynasty brain real quick. Nico Collins is currently the wide receiver 16 on Fantasy Calc. Do you love it or hate it?
I mean, I personally hate it because I have no clue what to make out of that offense. Absolutely love how the offense is being built around CJ Stroud, but not the biggest fan of where all of these wide receivers are going. One, because they are relatively closely grouped together, especially, Nico Dynasty. Nico and Tank are closely grouped together. Stroud has already come out and said how much he loves throwing to Tank Dell. I don't remember him saying that.
He doesn't gas Nico up the same way.
Exactly. So it's just a different level of gas that comes in. Nico is like that regular, where Tank is like that premium when we're talking about how much level of gas here, Stroud is being able to give them. So I think that definitely plays into it. Looks like a football coach. Mike.
Man, that's a heck of a compliment. Dream job one day. High school teacher, football coach.
There you go. But yeah, so I personally don't like it. I'm not going to say I hate it, but it's a strong dislike.
You have to pick one. We're making an 11 hate list.
Fine. We're going to go with hate. All right.
Dang. All right. We have another one in the chat. Do you want this one or do you want me to take this one?
You got this.
All right. Love or hate Zay Flowers. I'm two different things here. There's the redraft price and the dynasty price. The redraft price, I kind of hate. I don't see the ceiling there. What indicates that a team is going to run the ball more? Is it signing one of the best running backs in the league and then also having Lamar Jackson back there? Or is it anything else the Ravens did in this offseason? Where he is going, there's a string of guys. We're talking about T. Higgins. We're talking about Amari Cooper. We're talking about George Pickens, that we could see them leap into a top 15 to 18 wide receiver role this year. Zay Flowers is a very safe wide receiver 2 to 3, in my opinion. He's going to give you a PPR floor. He's going to get his design touches. I just can't see the ceiling, and in redraft, I'm chasing ceiling. Dynasty, on the other side, certified good at football. And because he hasn't had the full upside yet, he's priced pretty high, but he's still underneath some guys that we don't know yet if they're good or not. Like, he is way below Rome Odunze last I checked. I think Rome Odunze is good. I think that he's a better prospect than Zay Flowers was. But we've been wrong before. So I love Zay Flowers in Dynasty and his price right now. I hate his redraft price.
Yeah, so I was just pulling up while you were talking Underdog here with a single quarterback for Underdog, ADP of 40.7.
That's too high.
We have T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, George Pickens, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Jaden Reed. All right,
those last three, they should be behind him. But
okay, sure. I mean, I was just listing off everybody that I saw on the screen, putting Zay at the top here.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think very clearly Zay should slot in behind Pickens, probably about 10 slots later than his current ADP.
Fair. All right, we have another love or hate. Evan, do you love Stephon Diggs on the Texans?
Yes, 100%. Love it. Will he be a distraction in the locker room? Probably. But is he good at football? Yes.
Certified good at football. Very cool. All right, we have another one. Man, chat is bumping tonight. If you are not listening to us live, we're live every Tuesday at 8:30. Hop in, say hi. We answer every question that we get. So if you have start-sit questions, if you have other things, pop in, say what's up. Better long-term wide receiver 2. I'm going to think that this is Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's Dynasty here.
Yep. Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, or Ladd McConkey. Listen, I am the absolute poster boy for Dads for Ladd, but I cannot justify putting him in this group. He's the mystery box. We've seen Zay Flowers be good on a football field. We've seen Tank Dell absolutely crush it in points per game before they decided to make him block at the goal line weighing 108 pounds. Both of them have higher floors, and I would argue Tank Dell's ceiling is substantially higher right now. So I would keep Tank Dell.
We're in agreement.
All right, that's easy enough. Boom. Chubb. Does he make a difference? Here, let's just say, do you love or hate Nick Chubb in redraft this year?
Hate. Absolutely hate.
Yep. It's the name.
Yeah. Give me Jerome Ford where Jerome Ford's going, which I am just working on pulling up right now, which is 112.9 in Underdog ADP right now, comparatively to Nick Chubb at 133.4. Look, Nick Chubb is Cleveland royalty. They absolutely love him in that city. The odds of them letting him go at the end of the season are very low. It just is what it is. He's just ingrained in that community. He is Cleveland. He embodies Cleveland. He is just the prince of Cleveland at this point. But when your knee absolutely blows up, it is incredibly hard, even with over a year by the time he fully comes back. It's very hard to make a difference within those first 6 months. And that means this entire season is probably going to be a wash. Maybe if you make fantasy playoffs, but you also got to get to fantasy playoffs. Let's remember this. All right. If you have an IR slot, I just did this in my work week today. I took him with the very last pick. I didn't take a defense. So then I can put him in the IR slot and I can just pick up a defense. Things like that. Okay, sure. If you have multiple IR slots, you're going to burn it. Understand you're going to burn it for half a season. Keep them. If you make fantasy playoffs, you have something. But second half, no. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Jerry's listening to this show, so he's going to make the fantasy playoffs, except he's asking for our family league. I don't think he's going to make it in that one. Interesting thing. ESPN ADP, they're back-to-back right now. It's Nick Chubb is going 36 for running backs. Jerome Ford's going 37. One of them has clear startable weeks early in the season. That's Jerome Ford. When Chubb comes back, we're going to be worried about, like, what's the rotation look like? I need to see it on a field first. We need to figure out what this team is going to ride with. And I just can't see them riding with Nick Chubb with all of the things that he is to Cleveland, they're not just going to hand him 30 carries a game coming off of a severe injury. So,
all right, Mike, I got one for you here.
Yeah.
Statement. RBs should be looked at in a single year window in Dynasty after their first 2 seasons in the league. So I'm saying that their apex in value happens after that second year, and all it is value goes down. Yep. So I'm looking at him in a 1-year window.
I'm going to say I hate it purely because of a couple of outliers. So Breece Hall, after 2 years in the league, he's 23? He'll turn 24 this year. Is his value really going to go down if he's the RB2 this year again? Kenneth Walker, if you look at him in a 1-year window, it's kind of murky right now, but it's going to continue to be murky. We know that he's talented. We know that he's young. I think there are enough players that we value highly like that, and especially with next year's rookie class coming out, after their 2 years, they're all going to be 23, 24. If we see a revitalization of the running back position like we saw in 2017, those guys can make that statement look bad. Your normies, like your Brian Robinsons, your Jalen Warrens, your the very replacement guys that you can just go find or buy for a second, those are 100% 1-year window. What are you giving me now? Can you help me? So,
okay.
Yeah, cool. Do you love or hate? I can't answer this one without sounding biased. Kyle Pitts. Ready? Kyle Pitts finished as the tight end 6 this year. Do you love or hate that?
It makes me so indifferent.
Painfully neutral.
It makes you painfully neutral because you want to see him as a top 3 because if he's top 3 with Kirk, who historically loves tight ends, in an offense that only really has one other receiving weapon that really wants to run the ball. So should open up a ton of play action game for deep passes to a tight end or deep passes to a wide receiver. Should do all of that. If he's top 3, everything's solidified. His value goes up drastically. Not just a little bit. We're talking sky high. Everybody's going to be going to try and say, this is the Kyle Pitts that we thought we were drafting back when that was the thing. Now, on the flip side, tight end 8 and below,
he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah, exactly. His dynasty value starts going in a tank. You're not going to get a first for him. Nope. I don't think if he finishes tight end 8 or below this coming season, you won't get a first for him. Right now, you can still get a first for him.
Mm-hmm. But he finishes as a tight end 6.
Okay.
I'm going
to hate it because
it's so neutral.
Because it's exactly. Because it's going to make my brain hurt so much to try and figure out that 1 to maybe 2 people in the league that see tight end 6 and go, wow, that's a great season.
Yep. I have one. I'm going to piggyback off of Mike Silverman here. Do you love or hate the idea of 11 different tight ends scoring over 12 points per game this year in PPR? So 7 did last year, but that was without Kyle Pitts doing it. That was without Dalton Kincaid doing it, who we're now drafting as if he will. That was without there were 4 or 5 other names out there that it makes sense. So would you love that or hate that?
So I'm going to love it because I want to see a revitalization of the tight end position. Tight ends have been thrown to the absolute wayside.
Yep.
And I want to see a little bit of respect come back on tight ends to actually make a difference, to be actual point scorers. So instead of just drafting your 3rd and 4th wide receiver before you even think about a tight end, now all of a sudden it's, oh, okay, I got my 1 wide receiver. Do I want an elite one? No, not really. Okay, I'm going to go with the 2nd wide receiver. Okay, now do I want one before my 3rd wide receiver? Yeah, okay. There's some guys that would be there that you could be able to get that is still going to be somewhat of a difference maker. Love it.
Yep. Here's a couple of guys that did not get 12 points per game last year that we're drafting them as if they will this year. Trey McBride, he did hit that when he was in his full-time role. He wasn't in the full-time role the whole season. Jake Ferguson, still going pretty high. Dalton Kincaid, he scored 9.4 fantasy points per game. Now we're drafting him as like the tight end 3 off the board. Kyle Pitts. There's just a couple of guys that could make the leap, and we're really hoping that tight ends are deeper this year, because I'm tired of drafting. It's Travis Kelce, and then there's a tier of like Mark Andrews, George Kittle, and then there's a tier of, well, I'm going to be streaming by week 4. So, all right.
Wow, no love on everybody's darling of McBride and last year's darling Sam Laporta.
No, they were great. Don't get me wrong. My tight end sleepers article actually called out both of those guys. I was like, listen, you should draft them because they'll be startable by the end of the year. But they're historically, it was a tier of 1 and then 2 or 3. And then, well, I'll wait till the last round.
While we're on tight ends.
Yeah.
JT Sanders and what he did this preseason, how he looked running routes, looking at that offense.
I love it.
You're wanting to go get him, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
Listen, we kind of talked about it at the combine, like maybe it was just that he's not track speed, he's football speed. I don't think he loses an ounce of mobility when you put on shoulder pads. There's some guys, you throw shoulder pads on them, all of a sudden they just look clunky and slow. This is a shot at Isaac Correndo. But there's some guys you throw the pads on and they just look like they're moving almost faster, which is awesome. This is sad for my Tommy Tremble love, but I'll get over it if JT Sanders becomes a thing. All I'm looking for this year is 2nd or 3rd on his team in targets and look capable with the ball in his hands. Because maybe Bryce Young stinks. Maybe the offense doesn't improve the way that we want it to. I still want to see that JT Sanders is a key cog in the offense for if they bring in a replacement, or he just looks good and everything goes great and he's like a top 12 tight end that we're getting for free.
I mean, you're saying 2nd or 3rd on the team. Heck, I'd be happy if he's 4th on the team in targets.
I would if this receiver room wasn't you, me, and like my wife threw on some shoulder pads to come help out. Like it's Deontay Johnson, who we love, separating king, except he runs backwards with the ball in his hands. Then it's Xavier Legette, Jonathan Mingo. Like they just cut Terrace Marshall. I think they should have by now.
The corpse of Adam Thielen. Come on.
Yeah. Old man Adam Thielen. Just keep grinding. But yeah, no, I love JT Sanders and I do think the offense looks improved. So I'm going to say I love it. Do you love or hate Cade Otton? I'm not going to answer.
No, I love Cade Otton. He had one of the highest He had one of the highest snap percentages last year.
Do you play in points per snap leagues?
No, but what do you want? You want a tight end that's on the field. A tight end that's on the field means that they have a chance to run a route, which means they have a chance to catch a football.
All right, let me look up tight end snap shares from last year. Here's some guys that ran or were on the field for the most amount of time. Cade Otton, almost 100 more than the second person.
That's what I'm saying.
What did he do with it, though?
What does it matter? He's on the field, Mike. When you're taking Cade Otton where you're taking Cade Otton,
that's fair.
What is he an underdog right now? I mean,
he's...
you really got to scroll down to be able to find a Cade Otton. Tight end 22. At tight end 22, you're going to tell me that you have a tight end that was on the field 100 snaps more than the next highest tight end?
Cade Otton is he not even drafted?
What? No, he's 181.
No, I'm on ESPN right now. Oh man, it is the Wild West here. Where is Cade Otton? I don't think people know that he exists.
But yes, Cade Otton is a cog, a decently sized cog in that Tampa Bay offense.
Yes.
And he does exactly what they want him to do. Does that mean that he's flashy? No. Does that mean that he's on the field? Yes. What do we want out of our tight ends? We want them to be on the field.
Listen, I have very high marks for my tight ends. I want them to be the 2nd or 3rd target on an offense. I don't just want them out there running wind sprints. Like Tyler Higbee was 5th in the league in snaps for tight ends last year. I don't care if you got snaps. Get the ball. But all right. No, that's fair. That's a good one, though. Evan, shifting gears. Love or hate pineapple on pizza?
No, hate it. Doesn't deserve to be on pizza. Should never be on pizza.
Brother.
Yep,
Get you a
no,
Hawaiian pizza, sprinkle a little barbecue sauce on top.
no.
Man.
You're ruining pizza. Sorry, Mike.
Give it another try one of these days.
That's the Northeasterner in me. You are ruining pizza.
I'm from the Northeast too. I'm just willing to try new things.
Whatever.
Anyway, hello, baby, and go Steelers.
Go Steelers.
All right, what you got for me?
Oh man, I was supposed to come up with another one here. Okay. What love or hate that 2025 QB class will have 5 first-round quarterbacks.
5 is tough. 3, I feel very good about 3.
People are steaming up. People are sitting at 4 right now.
We do this every year.
Every year. That's what I'm saying, though. Every year, quarterbacks get steamed up.
Yep.
And it just happens. We get really excited based off of the first couple games.
Oh man.
But no, I mean, look, that is an absolute just take of all takes of all takes right there.
That is too many.
When you start thinking about it, I mean, there are so many names. Go back to some of the episodes that we did previously for the SEC and the Big Ten. You'll start to see some names, but Wegman did not look good. Jalen Milroe, we'll see. Drew Aller looked good in his first game. Cam Ward looked good in his first game. Jackson Dart did Jackson Dart things against a no-name opponent. Riley Leonard is a big quarterback who can break tackles and doesn't get sacked.
If somebody drafts Riley Leonard, I'm going to scream.
But when he gets out of a sack, he doesn't know what to do with the football. So, I mean,
oh, man.
There's quarterbacks.
He just looks like a baby deer out there running around. 5 is too many.
5 is I will say horrible take.
If you set the line at 3.5, that is a very good line.
Yes.
Because you can see Carson Beck, Shadur, Quinn Ewers, and then Cam Ward, depending on like what goes on the rest of the year, like people are already gassing him up. I could see another 1 sneaking in. 5 is an unholy amount.
Yes.
Given where this class stands now. Listen, long college football season. We've seen a lot of promising things from a lot of guys other than Kyron Drones. DJU is dead. I think they're currently just asking fans how far they can throw the ball, and if it's over 5 yards, they're putting him in pads. Like, it's rough. So I just 4 I love. Do you talking about quarterbacks? Let's talk about the NFL dynasty real quick. Love or hate that Deshaun Watson is over Baker Mayfield on Fantasy Calc dynasty value?
I love it because of the weapons. Look,
Baker or of Watson?
Of Watson.
Baker's weapons are better.
Whoa, Baker's weapons are better.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cade Otton, snap count king.
Half-burn Njoku, always injured Jerry Jeudy. Elijah Moore, the corpse of Elijah Moore.
If we are comparing Jerry Jeudy to Chris Godwin right now, I'm going to end the pod. We're just gonna call it.
Amari Cooper, an offensive line that is significantly better.
Yes, I will say that.
Okay.
But also a culture that wants to run the absolute hell out of the ball, plays.
But what did they do the second half of the season? They threw the ball a lot.
Because they had a good quarterback then.
Oh, we're back on this. Not a good quarterback. All
right. Well, you love it. I hate it. I think that'll be a point of contention for us all off. You want a water bet real quick?
All season? Sure. What are we doing?
Full season, we'll do Baker versus Watson. Just season-long finish.
Okay,
not points per game, because Watson's not going to play the whole season because he's a bum.
Season-long finish. All right.
It's a water bet. Cool. What else you got for me?
Let's see. Steelers finish last in their division.
Well, I hate that.
But as an analyst.
Okay. When we did the AFC North breakdown, our big thing was that we think the Bengals could be worse than people are giving them credit for. Joe Burrow is coming off of a nasty injury to his throwing hand. that seems like a problem for a passing quarterback. He already isn't mobile because of the ACL tear. He's playing behind an okay offensive line, if you really want to give him credit. The number 1 receiver's holding out. The number 2 receiver is already grumpy because he didn't get a contract extension. They tagged him. They're pushing Andre Yosevich onto us when Jermaine Burton is standing right there. They lose Joe Mixon. They replace him with Chase Brown, who, if you find somebody that can find a better clip of Chase Brown than the one screen pass, I have seen that screen pass 900 times because it's the only thing that we can point to be like, look, Chase Brown's good. But that's just it. So I'm going to say, as a football analyst, I believe in Mike Tomlin. I believe in this defense. And I believe that Russell Wilson or Justin Fields and the Matt Canada to Arthur Smith change is enough. Steelers don't finish last, but they're still not good. They don't win a playoff game. But they're not last. And also,
but they're improving.
You know what I love?
Trophy smash.
Oh man, Justin Fields and Trophy Smack. If you head on over to Trophy Smack, use code FFRPG at checkout, you can get a sweet trophy, rings, medallions, whatever you want to do to swag up your fantasy football league, head on over to Trophy Smack. But Evan, when's the last time you tried pineapple on pizza?
Last time I tried pineapple on pizza was January.
It's been almost a year. You've matured.
Look, I've tried it on deep dish. I've tried it on hand tossed. I've tried it on flat pizza, which isn't real pizza. It's cardboard.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's cardboard.
Yep.
I've tried it on deep dish.
That's not good either.
And I've tried it on Sicilian. No. I've tried it on so many different styles because people keep telling me that I need to like it.
You do need to like it.
But I don't like it.
You know what you need to love, though?
I also just don't like pineapple as a fruit. I've had pineapple straight from when I was in Hawaii. I had pineapple right off the
it still didn't like
tree or wherever it grows.
Yeah, it grows. No, where do pineapples grow?
I'm pretty sure it's a tree, Mike.
No, they do not.
It's a bush.
Dude, they just sprout out of the what?
Okay, well,
what?
Regardless.
What?
When I was over in Hawaii, I tried it fresh from Hawaii. Still could not sell me on it.
Cancel the pod. What? Pineapples grow? It looks like corn stalks, but weird. Oh my Lord. People, go look up how pineapples grow. It'll blow your mind. But yeah, no, you tried it on a tree or off of a bush.
Yeah.
Out of the stalk. You freshly eared your pineapple. And it just okay. Well, if you don't like pineapple, then you won't like pineapple on pizza.
Exactly. But I'm still willing to try it. I will try anything multiple times to see if it's just how I ate it that it's not good.
That's fair. Staying in the AFC North, do you love or hate? We just talked about them. The Cincinnati Bengals are currently the 6th favorite to win the Super Bowl. They're at 13-1 odds. They're ahead of the Houston Texans. They're ahead of just all of the teams other than the Ravens, Chiefs, Niners, Eagles, and I think there's another one hidden in there. Do you love or hate that?
No, I absolutely hate it.
It's weird, right?
I would be half inclined to take a bet on the Bengals not making the playoffs, which if my app would load, I could figure out what the odds are on that because they're favored to win the division. And if you tell me that I can take them to not make the playoffs at plus money, at plus 205.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd put a sprinkle on that because I absolutely just don't see the path. I see the path week 1 because they're playing the Patriots, and the Patriots are just bad at football.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, it's a division that will be very competitive all season. It's a team that has a questionable offensive line It is a team that has a very upset wide receiver room that could just quit on this team if they start losing.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons to not like this. T. Higgins has no money. Jamar Chase has no money yet. The running back room got worse. Joe Burrow's dealing with injuries. The defense, you have Trey Hendrickson. Who were their corners? That feels important for football. So, yeah, I would sprinkle some money on them not making the playoffs over the 13-1 to win the Super. It's the aura of Joe Burrow. He's so cool.
Yeah, Slim Shady.
Cool. What else you got? Or are you out right now?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm out.
Cool. I'm going to ask you one more, and then we'll call it a night. Do you love or hate that football is back?
Oh, come on, Mike. Absolutely love it. Football is here. College football has been going on. Week 0, I was locked in of college football. People around me, maybe not the happiest about that. But I was there sitting in front of the TV, watching the late night games, staying up, trying to watch Hawaii. That 11 o'clock Central, 11 p.m. Central kickoff time. I mean, I'm watching through my eyelids, but college football, more college football. Absolutely love it. Love that that's back. Love watching these prospects as they start to mature throughout the entire season. The NFL is right around the corner. My Eagles are playing down in Brazil, so absolutely love that. Super stoked that they get a whole day to themselves to be able to be talked about. So I'm really hyped for that game. We watched us in college absolutely decimate Florida State.
Yes, we did.
Which was great because Florida State was overhyped for so long all offseason. Absolutely love seeing that.
Nothing says number 10 overall team like losing your quarterback, both wide receivers, your tight end, your running back, 2 NFL graded defensive linemen, I think an offensive lineman or 2, and then most of their secondary. That sounds like really easy to replace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It'll just be like, a glove, just hand fit in the glove.
Just
nothing ever changed. Yeah. Same team out there.
Yeah. I love that we started doing awards for our college players. So this week it was wow. Ashton Genty. I was just really fired up about Judkins. Ashton Genty was our Wizard of the Week. Follow us on Twitter at FFRPGPod or myself at FFMikeCash with a K. And you can stay up to date with our little weekly awards. We make a cool little thing, show you what they did, and try and make you a more informed college football fan. So if you're looking for dynasty content, if you're looking for redraft content, stick around, subscribe. You know what I love the most?
Me.
No, our listeners. Why are you full of yourself? God.
Come on, Mike. But I love you.